I personally, as we were saying during a break, personally I think I'm quite a circus fan. We were talking about that. So congratulations on bringing a circus to East Bridgewater. It's true that it's not the first circus. There were circuses, but I don't remember one in 10 or 15 years. So we'll say it's the start of a new tradition.
I hope so, Pete.
How did it come about? How did you find this circus?
Well, the circus comes up in New England every year about this time of year. We were just never part of their circuit. They visit a town called Byfield, which was where Triton High School is, and that's one of the bands that we compete against and with on occasion. The president of the music parents down there was aware of an open date and called me to see if we'd be interested to fill in that open slot. We brought it up to our membership, discussed it among ourselves, and it looked like an ideal situation. So we signed the contract and we're off and running.
How much work does the association, you and your colleagues, how much work do you have to do to produce the circus?
Well, there's the usual legwork of getting it approved by all the officials. You have to go in front of the school committee. You have to get a temporary building permit from the building inspector. You have to meet with the fire chief, and you have to meet with the police chief. But once that's all out of the way, the actual work that's done is selling tickets. That's our job, to advertise the circus and to sell tickets.
Well, that was exactly my next point. Let's make this commercially worthwhile.
Sure.
How do people get tickets?
There are several different ways they can get tickets. The East Bridgewater Savings Bank has been nice enough to let us put tickets at their location, and they'll be there all this week during normal banking hours. Myself and my wife and other music parents will be on the town common tomorrow night during the band, and we'll be selling tickets there. They can call my home, and my wife is there during the day and get tickets. And we will be setting up ticket sales offices at various locations throughout the town at the supermarkets this weekend, and you'll be seeing that as well.
Now, the Roberts Brothers Circus is a three-ring circus. Right. It has a tent that's about 160 feet long. It'll be a colorful spectacle just to see the tent. It seats about 1,500 people for each performance, so that's a potential approximately 3,000 tickets. Do you have any sense of how they're going? Are there plenty of tickets left? Should people hurry to get their tickets? How's it going?
When I met with my ticket chairman the other night, we had a meeting with the clowns when they came into town. The 7:30 show is going very well. We have a few hundred tickets left, so if somebody's interested in going to the 7:30 show, I would suggest they get on the ball and get their tickets. The 4:30 show is about half full. I am optimistic, and I hope within the next week we'll have a real great push and we'll sell both shows out.
Well, I'm glad that there's a 4:30 show, because that means I can go to the 4:30 show and still be back here to do next week's Common Talk.
Pete, let me tell you one quick story about the selling of tickets, because out of things like this, sometimes something good comes. We got a call the other day from a gentleman who does business in town. He says, Bob, I want to buy some tickets. And he purchased quite a few tickets, and I couldn't understand why he needed so many. He has taken those tickets, and in working with the Veterans Administration, or the Veterans representative in town, he's going to contribute those tickets to some families that couldn't afford to go to the circus. So that's what a circus is all about, and we're tickled pink to see those kinds of things happen.
And if it's not revealing any deep, dark secrets, not only has he bought the tickets, but he's given the veteran service consultant $5 per child for spending money to go with each of those tickets.
I think that's great.
Well, you know, if we were doing a whole show on the circus, I would have made a long list of quotes. But one of the quotes pertaining to the circus that I'm real fond of comes from John Steinbeck. And he says that if every adult in the world were forced to go to the circus once a month, there'd be no strife, there'd be no wars. And if anybody will just take my endorsement of my testimony, no matter whether it's the Big Apple Circus, Ringlings, Cole Brothers, whoever, Roberts Brothers, go to the circus. So once again, you can get tickets for the circus by calling Bob Simpson. You can get tickets for the circus by visiting the savings bank during banking hours. And perhaps most convenient, if you want to go out to have a good evening, see Dan Lasdow live tomorrow night on the Common, playing with the South Shore Concert Band, famous for the preservation of circus music. Appears every year at Lincoln Center with the Big Apple Circus. You can get your tickets tomorrow night on the Common. Well, as time just about runs out, I wonder, Bob, if you've got any last words, and also, Dan, if you have any last words, so that as you're driving home, you don't say, gee, I wish I'd said.
No, the only thing I have to say to the community is that we're tickled pink with the response that they've given us on supporting the circus and the activities of the music parents, and I look forward to a great year in working with everybody.
Dan?
I'd just like to thank you, Bob, for all your efforts in behalf of the music program and bringing the circus to East Bridgewater. I think it's wonderful. Thank you very much.
Well, my pleasure.
And I'd like to thank Dan and Bob for being here, and I'd like to thank you for being here also. Common Talk, you remember, took its name from the fact that it's common to discuss these topics, and we're delighted you're with us. We want to quickly mention that next week we will have one advocate and we'll have one opponent of the petitions that will appear on the October 4th special town meeting, and we'll also talk about the other articles that will be coming up on the October 4th town meeting. Now, during our vacation week, when our crew gets a well-deserved break and Ralph Wadman, who works all hours, gets a week's vacation, we won't be on the air, but I'll tell you what we are going to do. We're going to do a mail survey, the Common Talk poll. We're going to find out how you feel about a variety of things in town. We'll let you know the results of that poll, by the way, on the air at a future show, and we'll use that information to determine our future programming. This is Pete Eastman. This is Common Talk. We'll see you again next Wednesday night. Have a good week.